Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. What brings us to this video is I've got this mask set from BBTS. It is laden with some issues. I have contacted BBTS. The lady asked me, the very nice lady asked me if I could do some videos, send them in to her. I have enough problems that the videos tend to extend to the point to where I can't where I can't email him. So I called back again, talked to another gentleman. He said send some pictures, and in the idea of not dragging this on any longer back and forth with the emails, I just don't think pictures would suffice and or display the issues. So without further ado, we'll start off with the Rhino. I had relayed to them about that there's multiple issues, not only with just the flimsiness and the feel of these vehicles, these items. They have many issues with the functionality. One of them, which is quite funny, is the grill. I haven't seen anybody else have, well, matter of fact, I have seen some other people that have the problem with the grill. They say, it's crooked or it has a gap in the top. Mine is very difficult to latch. What happens is that right there, it'll pop out just randomly. So I can put it back together, give it some time, it pops out. That's one problem. I've got I have the relatively loose smokestack. It's not super loose, but it is slightly loose, whereas this side is very or more stiff. So it does have what I've seen other people talk about, like has a really flimsy, see the smokestack just moved. This rear section, it does not take much, and this will really just fall off there in some cases. Again, one issue. So another thing is when you get the smokestack up and make sure it's all clear and try to get the seat to come out. The seat's kind of relatively hard to get back in there. There it goes, it went in there. Sometimes it's a little bit more difficult than that. All right, so that doesn't want to go in there. I'll have to tinker with that. But those are my issues with the Rhino. Like I said, I bought the complete set. That's my major issue with that side. Next one is the Condor. If you've had the vintage one and you remember when you pop the Condor the blades out, they'll kind of pop up and stick up. Well, these won't, and that's not necessarily the issue. The blades are a little droopy. This is actually the first one I opened up, and I didn't feel it was such a big deal that the blades were droopy. But right here on the top, these are supposed to kind of pop down and hold these blades up. These are extremely thin, very flimsy, and you can see that the plastic is already fatiguing on these blades in this section right here. I'm a collector. I don't necessarily play with the toys and articulate them too much, but I can really foresee those breaking in the future if you're one of those collectors that does want to, tinker with them and pose them often. That may potentially be an issue. The plastic is, this is 2025. You would think that in this time frame that they would manufacture something that's better than what was made in the 80s. So the back wheel really doesn't clip in, super solid. It holds in there. Does snap up here very solid, and that's good. But it doesn't sit under there very, very firmly. It takes very little movement, and it comes out relatively loose. Not the biggest deal in the world. Like I said, I'd look past that, but adding everything up together, so brings us to the Thunderhawk. This really does feel flimsy. You know, again, I'm not bagging on BBTS. I do a lot of business with them. They've been very good to me. Never had an issue with anything that they've sold me. This is the first time I've ever had an issue with a product. So just like what I've read from other people, because when I started having issues with this, first thing I did is I went to YouTube to see if other people were having the same issue, because I felt maybe it was just, maybe I got a couple of funky cars, but I wasn't the only one. So, you know, again, this is not the worst thing in the world that the doors are droopy, but you know, when you try to pick one up, the other door goes down. You pick them both up, they'll fall down. And the original one did it too. Not that big of a deal, but you know, we're paying significantly more for these vehicles, toys, than we did. You would think they would rectify them. I did read online that there were some guys that were stretching these springs in order to make them a little tighter. So I'm not here trying to customize these toys to make them work the way that they should. So that's kind of the issue with this, is the spring in the doors is just really not that tight, and when you try to get them up here in the position that they're supposed to be in, you know, it just kind of gives a cheap feel. You know, I waited just like everybody else for these. Didn't hear anything negative about them, so I went ahead and, as I got the email and it went to process, I was happy with it. It's got nice tires on it. Tires feel good. Just this, they feel, you know, as my wife said, they feel like Walmart toys. With that being said, is the Switchblade or the high-tech helicopter, I've never opened it. Still in the package. I'm choosing not to open it because there's a lot of bad reviews with this, and I'm not willing to open it because I'm so displeased with some of the other items here that it's not worth me opening, in my opinion. I'm gonna choose to send this back, and that's really why I'm making this video, because BBTS asked me to make a video and send it back to them. But I've also seen online that some of the figures are breaking because their straps on their legs are kind of misformed and they break. And I'm not willing to sit on something that cost me $350. That's potentially gonna break in the future. So this is my Mask toys from the passenger seat, just snapped in from loyal subjects, and the and my Ghost grill there. So I hope this video helps some people. I hope it enables me to get my money back, where I can invest it in something that I feel is gonna have some more longevity to it than the Rhino. I always get a kick out of that. But you know, again, thanks for watching the video. I hope this helps some people out. Hope it helps you make a decision. I hope they get to a point where they rectify this, because I'd like to see the line go a little bit further and get some of the other vehicles in there. It would be absolutely great. So, all right, guys, thank you.